The Volkswagen Golf. The car that didn't just invent an entirely new class of vehicles, it literally pulled a German auto giant back from the brink of death. It's hard to believe, but in the early 1970s, Volkswagen was caught in a deadly trap of its own making. For decades, they had rested on the laurels of the phenomenal Beetle. But suddenly, the world moved on. The air-cooled rear-engine layout, designed by Ferdinand Porsche way back in the 1930s, was hopelessly obsolete. Demand was crashing. Company shares plummeted from 1,100 marks in 1961, down to a pathetic 90 marks by 1974. Competitors like Fiat, Renault, and Honda were already stealing the market with modern compacts. Meanwhile, VW executives were burning through their billions in savings on dead-end experiments, still playing around with mid-engine layouts and air cooling. They were driving straight into a brick wall, but Volkswagen had unknowingly thrown itself a lifeline back in the mid-60s by buying Auto Union, which later became Audi, and NSU. This genius strategic move gave Wolfsburg engineers access to cutting-edge tech, front-wheel drive, and modern water-cooled engines. In 1969, a young Italian design maestro, Auto Giugiaro, was brought in. He proposed a radical shift. Out with the round curves of the Beetle, and in with a sharp, boxy, yet incredibly practical hatchback design. But the road to production wasn't easy. VW's conservative boss, Rudolf Leiting, thought the Italian design was too radical. To cut costs, the curved rear glass was made flat, stylish recessed door handles were swapped for standard VW parts, and the taillights were shrunk. By the way, here's a detail for the true car geeks. The very first units produced in 1974 and 75 had a unique body shape. The rear panel between the taillights had a subtle curve, nicknamed the swallowtail. VW soon ditched it to make stamping cheaper. And today, finding an early swallowtail Golf is the holy grail for collectors. In March 1974, the first cars rolled off the line. The timing was simultaneously terrifying and perfect. The 1973 global oil crisis had just hit. Fuel prices skyrocketed. Gas-guzzling monsters were dead. Against this backdrop, a fuel-efficient car was an absolute jackpot. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. In fact, it almost became a disaster. The very first batches of Golfs had a terrible secret. They rusted fast. Because of the economic crisis, VW was forced to use cheaper, recycled steel. Cars were visibly rotting within their first year of life. Volkswagen had to scramble, spending millions on warranty repairs and urgently upgrading their anti-corrosion tech to save their new hero from a rusty grave. Once they fixed that, the Golf achieved something incredibly rare in the automotive world. It became a truly classless car. Before this, what you drove dictated your social status. But the Golf? You could see a broke college student, a busy mom, or a wealthy banker in a tailored suit driving one. It completely erased social boundaries. In the US, the Golf arrived as the Rabbit. Golf sounded like a game for rich people, but Rabbit sounded quick and punchy. Despite having to bolt on massive, ugly bumpers for US safety laws, the market loved it. Volkswagen even opened a plant in Pennsylvania just to build Rabbits, the first foreign auto plant in the US since the 1920s. And then, we have to talk about 1976, the Golf GTI. Today, it's an icon, but back then, it was a secret rebel project. Engineers built it behind management's back. A 110 horsepower fuel-injected engine turned this family hatch into a sports car killer, birthing the hot hatch class. Add in the legendary tartan plaid seats and the golf ball shifter, and history was made. The GTI didn't just create the hot hatch. It birthed modern European tuning culture. It proved you didn't need a Ferrari to turn heads. Young drivers started modifying them instantly, throwing on wide BBS alloy wheels, aggressive Kame body kits, and lowered suspensions. And right before the Mark I retired, VW dropped the ultimate flex in 1983, the GTI Pirelli Edition. Its signature feature was custom alloy wheels with cutouts shaped perfectly like the letter P. Today, those wheels are absolute collector's gold. That same year, 1976, brought the Golf diesel. VW engineers took a petrol block, beefed it up, and proved that diesels weren't just for tractors and taxis. But few people know that in '76, VW also built an EV. The Golf City Stromer was an experimental lead-acid battery car that drove about 50 kilometers, a crazy glimpse into the future. Then came the 1979 Golf Cabriolet. Nicknamed the Strawberry Basket because of its massive fixed roll bar, it became the world's most popular convertible for years. For Americans who still wanted a trunk, VW simply grafted one onto the Golf to create the Jetta. And those engineers in Pennsylvania? They chopped the car in half to make a compact pickup, the Rabbit pickup, known in Europe as the VW Caddy. By 1975, the Golf was the best-selling car in West Germany. The millionth car rolled off the line in just 31 months. In total, nearly 7 million Mark Is were built. And we can't forget South Africa. The Mark I lived on there as the City Golf, all the way until 2009. They painted them in wild, bright colors, threw in modern stereos, and made a 1970s design the absolute must-have street car for South African youth in the 2000s. The Mark I didn't just save Volkswagen. It created a new standard, giving an entire market segment its name, the Golf class. But time moves on. By 1983, it was time to pass the torch to the bigger, more comfortable Golf Mark II. But that is a story for another time.